Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing brakes on the car and we're gonna replace the rack and pinion steering. Let's get into it. So this car does have drums in the rears. I don't plan on changing that out now. I'm gonna just put new equipment back there. And the fronts are just beat up. I already painted the calipers right on last night because they were filthy, but I am replacing the pads and the rotors. We're gonna also put in braided brake lines. Let's show you what we put in the car. So here we go. This is what I'm gonna put into the car. These are the rear drums. I have the other one over there, but I painted them both black. They are new. So I'm gonna put those in. Fronts are cross drilled and slotted rotors. I ordered those. I think they're from Z1. I think that's what it is. Mold tool, 660 fluid, higher temperature, higher boiling point, so you get no brake fade. We've got Goodrich braided lines all around. That way, you know, the original lines, which are all rubber, are probably rotted out. This is a 97. I doubt they've ever been changed. I don't trust that. And Hawk pads. We went with the blues. I haven't tried these yet, but they should be a good compound for the track and not as aggressive as a DTC 30 or a DTC 60 that I ran on the Type R. So let's get into it. For the bracket, 217s. Bracket comes right off. Boom. Now we got exposed to it. I already took off the rotor up here. It's got two, I think there were 14s up here. Was it 14? Am I tripping? It was a 12 actually at the bottom. It was a 12 on the bottom bolt. All right. And it swings off. The top has a stud in it. Just slides into there. Now I can get the rotor off. I can put the new equipment on. All right, so temporarily the brakes are in, the pads are in. I ordered the brake kit. It's got those little brackets because this, in case you guys are ordering these pads, they don't ever come with the little brackets, these little brackets here. They don't come with these little brackets here. And I went to the auto parts store. They don't have them in stock. I guess the manual Civics are different than the automatic ones, so I had to order them. They'll be in tomorrow, but in the meanwhile, I'm gonna finish the job, and then tomorrow I just gotta, flip up that caliper, put the brackets in, and just snug it down. It's literally 114 millibolt. It's easy. But now to do the braided lines, a trick that I found online a long time ago, so that you don't have a big mess, is you take a piece of wood and you put it on the pedal. I'm gonna pull the seat up, and what it does is it applies pressure to the brake. And what that will do for you is that it won't allow fluid to just start leaking everywhere once you disconnect that braided line or that brake line. It holds the pressure. You won't have a big mess. You'll be able to put in your braided lines. And then once you're done with it all, be able to bleed the whole system. But that's the trick. In case anybody's haven't done it yet, you put a piece of wood or something pushing pressure on that pedal. And just like that, you pump the brakes because I just swapped out the pads, so I had to re-push the caliper out. But that now adds pressure to it, so now when I do the line, it shouldn't be dripping everywhere. All right, so now to do this job, you gotta do a couple things. So one, you've gotta break that bolt up there. I recommend doing it while it's still in this holder because it's gonna allow it to stop spinning. This is a pin that's gotta be pulled out. You've got one over here that holds it there, and then obviously you've got this one here. Can you see that? Yeah, right there. Now what the kit does come with is, let's focus a little bit. What the kit comes with, obviously the full set. You're gonna get new hardware, right? So new replacement clips, new crush washers for the banjo bolt, and it comes with a new banjo bolt right there. So let's start breaking this loose. All right, so that's how she's looking right now. The lines run differently on this one. Guess I gotta run them out, not close to the caliper, but nothing's binding. I also reached out to Goodrich to make sure that it's okay. So I actually got in contact with Goodrich and was sending them images of these two banjos and the angles because it doesn't seem to be the proper angle, because if you use it and try to run it the same way that the factory ones run, you end up hitting the caliper. I was explaining that to them, sent them tons of photos, videos, and they've assured me that they're going to work on creating one that fits better for these, because it's not the first time I've come across this on some of my previous builds. So, and they said as soon as they figure it out, they're gonna let me know. So I'm excited about that. And the backs I'm doing now. Don't mind the noise. This is the old one, which is just rubber. You know, this is the new one, braided. Should have much better pedal feel. And that's the difference. Let's pop them in. All right, so I just finished installing the new cross-drilled slotted rotors, the Hawk blue pads, and Motul 660 fluid, all new braided lines. And I replaced the clutch slave because it was leaking through there. So that's a brand new one in there. She's almost ready for the track, almost. One of my seats came in, but not the other. There you go, I ordered these from O'Reilly's. Very fast delivery next day. They were ready in the store for me to pick them up. So I picked them up today, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put the last piece, which is replacing these little clips. This is what it slides on. If I'm mistaken, the one back here on the bottom, there's not even one back there. And you do want these because this is what helps it glide easily. So you put these on and then you put a little bit of grease, and these pads don't stick and get seized up on you. So let me just swap that out. All right, so wheels off. Just finished undoing that bolt. This is destroyed, seen better days, but I have replacement ones. All I did was back out on that nut right here. So I can try to get an idea of where it was, so I can try to reset this. It's still gonna need to get realigned, even though I just did an alignment, but this is gonna throw up the toe, so no biggie though. All right, so what we have here is I've already loosened it all up. You had this cover plate. It had 6 14mm bolts on it in total, right? 2 on this side, 4 on this side. Part of those 4 is actually going right into this rack and pinion to hold it in place. And then over here, there's just 2 more 14mm. And then I should be able to snake it out. All right, so that's the old one, that's the new one. I don't really know how to do this. I think these pieces have to be swapped over. Yeah, this goes here, I think. And this goes on top of that. And then I'll try to slide it back in. All right, you can see that right there. That should not be doing that. Should not be moving back and forth like that. This is the old one. This is what Ruben had mentioned when he was testing it out when he did my alignment. He was like, yo, something's moving around in there. And sure enough, he's right. That was it. All right, so that's the new outer tie rod, the new rack and pinion. Everything's bolted up. All I have to do is put the shifter linkages in and the exhaust back up. And I'm actually gonna connect the steering wheel now at the column. So in here, I'm actually gonna have to connect this. There's a little wiggle U-joint type jammy. I gotta put this on, tighten that up, make sure the steering wheel's straight, and that's it. So there you go, that's already been connected, both the bolts. I just gotta put the cover back on, 2 clips, and then on this side, this is all done. Just gotta tighten up this nut over here, and that's it. Job's done. So I bought one of these Amazon leveling, like a alignment kit that you bolt up to your rotor just to kind of do an alignment. It's not really working for me because I can't get the measuring tapes all the way across because it's hitting. I would need something that goes much lower. So I'm just gonna try to use these to eyeball the position of it just to get it to drive straight. I'll end up having to return this because it doesn't work for my application, unfortunately. All right, next on the agenda, we're gonna put the seats in. That's one seat. That's the other seat there. My sliders just came in, and I ordered these 1320 brackets or plates. I don't know how you wanna say it. These are pretty thick. And now I gotta put it all together. All right, so first things first, I gotta take all these screws off because it came with these 4. You know, I went to the local hardware store to buy a bunch of hardware to attach the seat to the sliders, to this, not thinking it came with everything. And it actually came with everything I needed, which I just spent money on this. I may be able to return it, or I might just keep it and put it in my bucket of extra stuff. Got Aiden taking out the seats now. You got one more on this end. Good job. All right, so this is probably day 2 of the seat situation. I put the seats in, I put the seatbelt in. The seat, in my opinion, is sitting way too high. I really don't like the way it feels. I feel like I'm way too close to the roof. I am 6'2", and with a helmet, I feel like we're gonna be cutting it close. I don't feel like I'm sitting on top of the car. I like feeling like I sit inside the car. So the only thing I can think of is gonna be removing the sliders. And yeah, I put a little spacers there because I wanted to give it an angle. I'm gonna remove those sliders and eliminate the adjustability sliding front to back, which is not something I really wanted to do, but I don't really have a choice, I don't think, at this point. If I plan on keeping these seats, the only alternative would be to maybe switch the seats out to like bucket seats that are low max, like I had like the braided on my CRX. But let me see if I can make these work. So I'm gonna take the brackets off and redo this whole thing. All right, so seats are in, steering wheel's in, but I need it to be closer, I think. So I scooped up the NRG quick release. That's gonna give me a couple more inches to bring it closer to where I need it. And it's gonna allow me to take it off for those track days to get in and out of the car easier. So something else that's been bothering me is, since I took off all the plastics back here, this edge is like really sharp and hard. Like you can sometimes hit it. I've hit it already. So on Amazon, I picked up this like rubber thing. It looks almost OEM. So we'll slide that on. It should help clean it up and also protect me and anybody in the car getting in and out. If you somehow hit that, you won't get all jacked up. All right, guys, and there she sits. She's got her new Sparco seats installed. She's got her new brakes installed. I've already noticed that these pads driving around town produce a lot of dust and would destroy my wheels. So I'm gonna put on some OEM pads for around town and just literally just use those for the track. But this is how she came out with the seats. That's with the steering wheel adapter, quick release. Shifter and shift knob coming in, rear view mirror coming in, but she's looking clean. Still need a roll cage with the 4-point harness, but here's a little walk around. This right here is my favorite view. Seeing that wheel cutout, and now you can see those Sparco logos on the seats. Hands down my favorite view. This 3/4 view back here. But thank you again for watching. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, subscribe. I've got a photo shoot I'll be doing hopefully next weekend. It's gonna be with the EK Coupe and the Type R. As you can see, I already put on the Type R wheels. These are the super speed wheels I have on the Type R, super speed wheels I have on the EK. And I'm gonna do a photo shoot with both of them. So I'm excited for that. Stay tuned for that and for the next video. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, subscribe. Leave some comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking of the build. And if you have any recommendations, I'd be open to hearing it. Thanks. Bye.